Hello, everybody. Welcome to Almost a Party. We've got one of our players running a bit late tonight. They should hopefully be joining us before we get too far into it. But we are back for episode 38 of Almost a Party. Our players just embarked on a pilgrimage for Alondiel. Along the way, they had visions facing their fears and regrets and triumphs and goals that they wanted to achieve. Some affecting real, actual change, others just giving them peace of mind. As they finished the pilgrimage reaching Maple Stump, they were greeted not by a vision, but by one of the divines, Arenwale, in the flesh, who delivered unto them some bad news, instructing them to continue looking and traveling throughout the world for many mysterious places throughout the world. She also gave unto them another one of the onyx uh, boxes that they have been finding and collecting as they have gone on their adventure. So we pick up with our players sitting by the maple stump tree, looking over the cliff, over the water, trying to figure out what to do next. There are plans that they have in place that they've been asked to come and help with, but with this new news of divines dying and them being tasked specifically by a divine, what would you all like to do?
Take a nap.
Okay, very, very well. You can definitely get in a short or a long rest here if you'd like.
Is she still there?
Certainly, she is
Sorry, go ahead.
gone.
Yeah, she basically pieced out as soon as she told us. Just like
She's like,
you
"Here's
have
my
to do it.
message. Peace."
Didn't answer any questions. Just left immediately.
Here's your
Yeah, I
message.
was
Here's your gift. Here's your task. Goodbye.
yeah, I was gonna ask her, do you know how to open these cuboids? And then she was gone. Hers is a sphere though, right?
Hers is a
So
sphere.
now we have a square, a rectangle, and a ball.
Yeah, so you've
We're
got a
capturing
sphere, a
all of
cube,
the
and a
letters.
cuboid. Yep.
All
They
the
go in
letters,
the
but let them
square
make shapes.
hole.
Yes.
So yeah, you still have a few extra days for all of the camps that you skipped along the way before you need to report to Aegon off in the desert. He did give you the rock that would teleport you directly to their location. So you have a decision to make if you want to go do that or if you would like to go do something else. Um,
So
Didn't Alondia want
because
to go? Sorry, go ahead.
I would say, since we do have a few days, how many days specifically do we have from right now to have to be to the floating islands to start that quest?
let me double check how many days you guys were um, on
Because
the
didn't Alon?
pilgrimage.
We can ask Alondia when he gets back, but didn't he want to do other stuff over here too? Like, of course, finish the pilgrimage,
Mm.
but like his family and stuff is here too, right?
Um, his family and stuff is on this island. Yes, you are pretty
Yeah, in
far
the
away
Elflands
from
in
the
general.
city. Yeah, where he is at. You have 11 days. You finished 11 days early. This is the 17th day. You have a month. Months are 28 days in this world. And so you've got 11 days before you need to get there.
Did Alondia power level us through the visions? Were we supposed to stop at every single one, like one a day?
You are encouraged to do so. Yes.
That's funny. Alondia's like, "Let's go. We're gonna get this sucker done."
So, I mean,
It's nice to have a little bit of a buffer.
yeah, it's good to have some
The
breathing room.
the tree stump itself,
It's not
is it
a
a full
stump; it's a
tree?
full tree.
It is a full tree. Okay,
Mhm.
and it obviously would serve the purposes for like transport via plants.
Yeah, absolutely. It's massive enough for that. So,
Cool.
so if you wanted to do transport via plant and head back to Drusus, you could do so, because you got that tree just outside on the far side of the river that you
Right.
can go to. I know throughout this um, pilgrimage, Zerdig's came up with, "Hey, I want to go back to Typhon's." Mizeki came up with, hey, I want to go see my girlfriend.
Yeah. I think the plan was we're gonna chill here a little bit, have some food and all, and sit and just like discuss basically.
Mm.
Yeah, we haven't had a restaurant montage in a little while.
Is there like a seaside inn or tavern or anything remotely looking like civilization near this tree that we can tell?
Not at all. It is purposely not civilized. Like, they don't want any civilization around here. They want it left nature and preserved.
Gotcha.
So,
Uh, what I- are we on like a cliff overlooking the ocean, or we're still pretty far mainland?
no, no, you aren't mainland. You are on a cliff overlooking the ocean. So Maple Stump is at the very southern edge of one of the peninsulas of the island.
And how high is this cliff off of the water?
So you get up to the top of the cliff past the tree and look down. Your best estimation is it's 500 feet.
So it's a nice gentle small cliff. Got it. Are there any ships visible out on the water?
Not from here. Ships aren't going to usually come to this area, and the ones that would be passing through on the ocean are going to be far enough away from this section of the island that you wouldn't be able to see them from where you are.
I see. Okay.
So this is almost like nature preserve isolated.
Very much so.
On the map, there is the Eye of Amonway.
Hmm.
Is that something we can see from this vantage since it is off the coast of Maple Stump?
No, that's miles and miles away, much further than what you can see.
Gotcha. Cool. Oh, so under the horizon.
Yep.
Remind me again, she wanted us to go through the Merchant's Mist.
She wants you to go and visit the mysterious places in the world. She mentioned that there are many such on Hapsarini and Manway, and suggested that you start with the Merchant's Mist, as it's one of those mysterious places.
Got ya.
It is the closest one to you, but not 11 days close.
Gotcha. With the statement that she made about the cuboids, for what she told us, that the possibility of finding a way to open it is Finger Road's Ring, which people don't know if it's a place. They refer it's a place, but it actually might be a thing. Is that, do we know if there's anything tied to Finger Road's Grasp, or is that even on the map that we can see?
Finger Road's Grasp is on the map. It is a set of islands that, from looking at it, you could see that it looks to be a left hand,
Right.
missing a finger, and there's plenty of space in between several of the islands that make up the fingers that, sure, there could easily be a ring there.
And is there known established settlements in Finger Road's Grasp, or
Uh,
is it
There are temples on Finger Road's Grasp. There are two specifically that are known, and there are some civilization built around them. But the primary purpose are the temples, and they're usually taken on by travelers on like a pilgrimage. So there is Sanctuary, which is on the second largest island, which is also, if you're looking at it from a point of a view of a hand, would be the tip of the thumb, and then in the center of the palm is the Desolate. And they
and do
are
we
two
do we know who
temples.
those temples are to?
Uh, you don't.
But it's known enough that there's probably some degree of travel or trade that we could hitch a ride on to get to those locations.
Yes. it is known enough. There aren't so many crafts willing to take it because of the pirates that patrol the area. But you could definitely attempt to get there, see who's willing to take that travel.
Got ya.
The closest point would be to head to the wild and make it to the all the way to the north eastern part of the wild to the Watch, which is specifically a settlement on the wild that has been set up to stop pirates from coming onto the wild as they are constantly out to the sea to the east of there.
And we don't know of any teleportation circles that lead us either to either Finger Road's Grasp or the Watch. We haven't come across any of those
Correct,
referenced
because you
anywhere.
haven't been there at all.
Gotcha.
So
So we know we have 11 days to get to the floating belt if we want to keep our house. But since we have 11 days and a tree we can travel from right now, Sadzi, you still have the spell on the staff to make that travel, right?
Yeah, I should. I don't think we've used any of the spell-specific spells. Or staff-specific spells.
the only time it was used was in one of the visions. So, and those don't count. And it's been a couple days since then anyway.
Yeah, we've definitely got the transport via plants. It's a 6th level spell, but I'm guessing the specials about the
Yeah,
staff itself, I can still cast it.
yeah, you cast it with the power of the staff. It's not a spell that you can cast on your own.
Yeah.
So even if you could cast 6th level spells, you wouldn't be able to cast it with one of your spell slots. You'd only be able to cast it with charges from the staff, unless it's a spell on your spell list. So
Gotcha.
But it is castable through the staff right now.
Yep.
For us.
Absolutely. And so if you wanted to spend days researching other mysteries of the world, give you an idea of places where you might want to go, that's definitely something that you can do. And if you just want to go right now, because you have 11 days before you have to get there, but you can get there as early as you want to. So.
Right, but we do have kind of a weird window where if we did want to get back to Drusus, do any further preparation, and like you said, kind of do some research, like Ore could certainly head to the library and look up other mysterious places of the world. Is that a topic that would be searchable in a library, like the mysterious places unexplored
Lonely
or
Planet
left
Guide.
open?
Yeah, like it would take a bit of research, but people report on different mysteries of the world, and so there will be books written on them. And in a way, you've already explored a couple of them because of the nature of the follies when the divines curse the world. A lot of those follies are considered mysterious places just because of the nature of how they work, where there is something different about them than how should function normally.
Right. So, like, we understand the secret to Typhon's folly. As far as we know, we've kind of solved a good portion of that secret in
Right.
regards to Typhon himself and what he was doing. Uh, 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 Harrington is also one of the secret places, right? Or the mysterious places.
Harrington's also one of the follies.
Gotcha.
I volunteers tribute.
And then Utra is also a folly, which Mazeki knows
Right.
all about since that is where he's
Right.
from. Helenos is one of the follies which Sadzi has passed through. And those are just the ones on Haptharini. You guys have only made the one visit over to Manway, so you don't know much about what's going over there. But you're intelligent enough, and from the description that you were given by Aegon when he asked for your help, the floating belt is a mystery in and of itself. It's moving
Right.
mountains through the sand.
Right. It's an unnatural occurrence that's without explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to kind of recap what we've got, we know we need to go to Merchant's Mist. That's where Erin Well said that she said we should start there. Uh, Floating Belt falls into the category, so it is one of the places that we should check. My suggestion is to go there sooner than later, get that quest started, and since that will put us on Manway, we could go from the Floating Belt, potentially work our way backwards through the Merchant's Mist, and I like again, this is I hate to say metagaming, but this is the player talking. And then maybe head towards Finger Road's Grasp. But before all of that, maybe it is not a bad idea to head back to Drusus for a couple of days, do any other research, last minute preparations, maybe even come up with another list of other mysterious places to kind of add to our to do list. And
Yeah, because we
knowing
can
some
instantly go to the.
right, since we can head home, and then give everybody a chance to figure out if they want to chase some of their personal uh, quests or make other arrangements as necessary from there, I guess. But as for in game, Ori is going to sit down and kind of open up his book, start writing down the information he got from Aaronwell, look over the sphere and see if there's any distinction different than, aside from the shape, than the other cube and cuboid that we've got, and just kind of dictate this moment of experience as we're taking like a short rest if we need it to before we figure out what we're going to do. Let everybody take a snack.
I
Okay.
think that's reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and give me an investigation check to examine the onyx sphere.
Investigation. Okay. I'm really tired of D&D Beyond slowness. I do need to switch over to those bots.
Yeah.
Looks like a 14.
14. Okay. So looking over it, you don't notice anything r- really different than the other three that you have, other than the obvious shape. It also feels lighter than it should be if it were a solid piece of onyx. So inside is hollow to a certain extent. Shaking it, it doesn't sound like there's anything inside. So it's solid, but lighter than it should be.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Add that to the notes Ori writing into his book, and he's going to try and pull a little bit of an Elondiel and sketch what the sphere looks like. I would have at some point in the earlier pages of my book made note of the other cube and cuboid and tried to sketch them as well. So just a really rudimentary sketch as a diagram for what he was looking at, and he's just going to spend a few minutes doing that.
Right. And Alondiel would definitely be doing the same way, especially since this came from his divine that he worships.
Right.
So there's no way that he would not draw this.
Should I have rolled that investigation with advantage with him assisting me on it?
There's not a need.
Okay.
But yeah, you can all take a short rest as you're here relaxing and making your plans.
So as we're resting, Zerdig remembers the time crunch twice now. Actually, most often this party's under a time crunch, but specifically the one in Steel getting back to the mainland, which didn't end up being a deal because we didn't go by boat. But I think that Zerdig would want to just go to the floating isles. Like he doesn't want to cut it close again, and then what if we get there and we're too late or something? So that would be his vote. Is let's just go to the isles. We've already put it off for like weeks at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like we're constantly playing catch up, and unless we can like pop into Drusus for maybe a long weekend, grab some supplies, and then go over, um, other than like restocking, I'd say let's just go straight on.
Hitting Drusus is smart, but we don't really have a way back there right now, right? We
No,
don't
you
have like a
do.
recall.
We have the
Oh,
Because
we've
tree.
got the
staff.
yeah, we've got the tree to get us to Drusus because looked at that. We examined that one just outside, and then so we can use the staff for that, and then we've got the smashy rock to get us to the floating belt.
So it probably is smart. This is in character now, but it is intelligent to go back to Drusus and report to the to your council, as worthless as they are. Yeah, am I right? And then move.
Yeah, we should probably leave him a note or something.
We could also check with the temples to Kiritsu, and are there temples to the lesser divines, the Order in Chaos that they said were dead? We have to check on Marble, right? For that reason as well.
So there are temples to all of the greater divines in Drusus, and to several of the smaller divines as well. In the case of like apprentices, like what happened with Karitsu and Order and Chaos, they are usually worshipped in the same temple within different sections.
Gotcha. They got their own wing. Cool. Uh, so that would make sense to go kind of check up on that, and they would like if divines are dying. There's not much more we can provide to the council in that case, right? We haven't surprised the council with dead divines. They've been pretty much informed as much as we have, right?
Well, you were informed on the first, and let them know. You were the one that actually uncovered and confirmed when Ayabar had died. But they let you
Right.
know when Brudek and Greymantle died,
Right.
because they had received contact from the dwarfs.
And with now confirming that the second cube we found is the Agricola and Caldova cube. Agricola and Caldova are the nature and ocean deities. Is that right?
They are the goddess of plant life and agriculture, god and goddess. They're
Right.
a husband and
Right.
wife couple.
Right. It's the couple
Yeah.
divines.
The sea is so Finger Road is the protector of the sea, and who is the goddess of the sea? Let me go grab her name really quick.
I
Anrin
know we've got it
Remuloth,
right.
yeah, is the goddess of the
Right.
sea. So
Sorry, say that again. Her name?
Anrin Remuloth, and she's a Triton, as is Finger Road. And so she's the goddess of the seas, and Finger Road is the protector of the seas.
There isn't along anywhere on the coast. Again, there's not a lot of sign of civilization, but are there any other um, uh, markers or
All of the campsites that you passed along the way.
no. I was thinking like tributes to the gods, like a Rosetta Stone or a stone or
Little
uh,
shrines.
a shrine. Thank you. That's the word I was thinking of. Shrine.
No, there are little bits and pieces that get left at the maple stump, but they typically disappear um, over the course of several days. And there are people that constantly come through Maple Stump. Usually every few days a new person will finish their pilgrimage, and so things don't typically last long that are left here.
And Ore will ask the group, is there anything we do need to equip ourselves or restock up on in Drusus before we head to the Floating Isles?
I could always use some more bullets.
Nothing immediately. I think we're mostly good. We probably should get some way to see invisible things.
Yeah, and Zerdig, you shouldn't need bullets. You had stocked up on metal and gunpowder before this trip, and you haven't really used any.
You can never have too much.
That's true.
This is the truth.
Fair.
Um,
I just wanted to make sure that you hadn't forgotten that.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Thank you.
you picked up your own bag of holding, right? So you've got all of your gun supplies in your bag. Yeah.
I need to double check. I think I did.
as Zerdig suggested earlier, we might want to leave a note for the council. Just, hey, by the way, we've heard of another divine and 2 lesser divines dying, and by the way, we're going over to the other continent. Bye!
I mean, we could certainly have Alondiel send a message if we're not going to head into Drusus.
No, I did not get my own bag of holding. It's on a cart.
Your cart that you left in the mountains?
I will figure it out. Off air.
Nice.
I would just. You're easy enough to probably carry the weight of it. It's not that much weight.
Yeah.
Just a massive mountain man backpack.
So the current plan is roughly when we leave here, we go to the mountains. And then we're going to take a ship back to go to the mist. Is that accurate?
I mean, more or less. I think,
There might be more stuff that happens in the middle there, but yeah.
yeah. Well, in Zerdig, knowing him, he'll probably want us to go through Steel again.
For sure, if we can. But the merchant mists are still. They're on the way still, I guess. Yeah. If it's on the way, then he would like to do that.
Well, we have a tree in Steel. Whether or not it's a real tree that we can connect to, we do have a tree on book to get there.
So let's just skip the trip, the ship, and go tree hopping.
I feel like there should be a Tom Petty song or something about this.
I'm sure there is. Oh yeah, Tom Petty totally wrote about this years ago.
100%.
So we have trees in Drusus, possibly Steel.
We've got a lot. We've got a pretty chunky list of trees so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The furthest south one, I think, is still Drusus, though, right?
Well,
Furthest south would be
Or
Bracknell.
southwest.
You have one in Harrington.
We got
Yeah.
Harrington. We got one in the Joy of Trees. We got one outside of Bracknell. We got one at the Gnome Base that was outside of Bracknell. We've got the Hag Tree, which was
no,
between Mint
you're
and
starting to
Zendare.
confuse teleportation circles with trees.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was running off the list of trees that I have. So
That's you're including teleportation circles in that because there were no trees in Bracknell because we didn't
in
know we
the
could do that
Knoll
yet.
Base.
Yeah.
No, there were trees outside the Knoll Base in Bracknell,
we
not
don't have
Kuche.
them. That's the point. We didn't. She has to specifically look at the tree and be like, okay, that tree.
Well, I mean, it's probably pretty likely that there is at least one tree that I favored around Bracknell. But
that very first Knoll base outside of Bracknell
Out in
was
the
in those
swamp. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
swamps, but there were trees. I took note specifically of that because we had hidden behind the tree line, watching the base before we moved in on it.
Right.
Do you have to designate the tree to teleport back to it beforehand, or can it be one that you've encountered in the past?
You have to be familiar with the tree.
Got it.
So, like Sadzi being from Bracknell and hunting in the swamps would very likely have a tree there.
Yeah, and the one I have in steel is the one that we had in Bold Blossom's forest, which, whether or not it was a real forest, because it was inside the building, that I took note of a tree there. And then, and yeah, then the rest of them we know, like the house, Maple Stump, and then a tree north of Ixildam,
Ilixstan.
Ilixdam.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the search on this site is so bad.
Are you looking at the World Anvil for the map?
So I was reading about the Beyond Plants. I have no idea if Discord was muted when I said that, but it's for a round, so it doesn't last longer than that. Good to know.
It's just 6 seconds, right?
Yeah,
For opening and close.
it-
But I think that's the same as
which-
teleportation circle, is just 6 seconds.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically it doesn't open up a gate. It opens up like you just have to step into the plant in that round. It doesn't last more than a single round. That was what I was trying to
Correct.
figure out.
I'd like to find a place with like giant mushrooms that would also count as the right element, so we can Mario ourselves to the other world for the princess.
That's fair.
Well, then we get into that whole argument of what are mushrooms?
Oh, I thought you were going to say we'll get into that whole argument about royalty is bad. Because,
Again.
that's the attitude of the world right now.
Royalty
Well,
is bad.
yeah,
and
but
monarchy.
that aside,
How much money do we have?
how much?
Ooh, that is a good question. How much money do we have in the bag?
And I think I have some coolers in your ring space, so if you can check on that and see how much of my special shakes are
I
in
have
there.
literally not been tracking that. You have to track that if you want. If you wanted to track how much you bought and how much you've eaten and all, I've not tracked any of that.
Curses. Foiled by my lack of organization again.
Let's see. As far as your money goes, since I know Alondiel's been tracking that, but we made a character specifically
Yeah.
so he could track that. Let's go see. 220 platinum pieces, 1,952 gold pieces, 8,016 silver pieces, 1,571 copper pieces. So approximately 5,000 in gold.
Yeah, just under 5,000 in gold. So
Yeah, we gotta just convert all that to gold. Ain't nobody want copper pieces.
Some things
Oh,
only
cool,
cost a couple
Mike.
copper pieces, so
Copper
Unless-
pieces spin just as well.
it's just a lot to carry, which is why it's all
It
in the
is.
bag of holding.
All right, let's get the show on the road. We going to Drusus?
Drusus or the floating belt? It sounds like those were where you guys are
Yeah,
debating.
I guess pop to Drusus real quick at the very least. Maybe take a bath. All that jazz.
True.
Spend the night once and then
Yeah.
talk
then
about
head out.
teleporting in the morning, yeah?
Give us a chance to run past the library and do a little extra research for a day if we're willing to take an extra day.
Yeah, just stick
Yeah.
Zerdig in there. He doesn't want anything to do with these stupid counselors.
How
He's not even
much?
officially part of this group, so
Yeah,
just send him
how
to the
much?
library.
How much does a sending stone cost? Like a pair, I guess, because they're sold in pairs. But
Yeah, and
Or wait, can I can just learn this spell? No, it's not a. Damn it! I hate this.
We still have a connected set. Well, I guess once we head back to the house, we could pick up the other stone from Ito since he's watching the house for us.
No, we want to keep that, don't we?
Ito's not watching the
'Cause
house. He told you he was
Ito went
gonna
on
go.
adventures.
Yeah, go back to his mercenary career,
No one's watching the house, if I remember
gladiator
right.
career. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to at least buy a set of sending stones and then
Yeah.
either transport it or ship it to.
Your girlfriend?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So it's 300 for a set of sending stones.
Okay. How much do you think it'd cost to get it shipped down to Utra where it could be picked up?
From Drusus,
Yeah.
depends on who you hire. Uh,
Are you
Fair.
wanting next day shipping or
same day shipping or
I mean, I don't think same day goes that far, does it?
um
Preferable, but I guess they could
yeah,
teleport it, couldn't they?
yeah. So like same day shipping definitely exists if you find someone familiar with the area. And so like if they're not familiar with the area, the closest that they can get is Mint because those are known teleportation circles are
Yeah.
in some of the large cities. Um, but I mean, you could also just send someone down the road, in which case it's going to take a few months.
Yeah, it's like a couple months. How long would it take if it was sent to Mint?
I mean, yeah, if it was sent to Mint, if you pay someone and you pay the teleportation fare cost, you'd get it there that day, so it'd be like 100 gold. That covers the teleportation fare.
Yeah. And Utra doesn't have a known teleportation destination, right? Because
Correct, because
yeah,
it's unplottable essentially.
yeah, you can't get to it. Okay. I guess that's what I'll do. I want to send a sending stone to Utra to be picked up whenever Surya gets back there, I guess. And I'll send her a message, hopefully with Ilandiel, who has disappeared, that says, hey, sending this along, we've got a thing we promised to do so that we can keep our house.
Okay.
Pick it up when you get back.
So you guys are going to Drusus. You're going to purchase a sending stone, and then you're going to ship it and send a message to tell your girlfriend where to pick it up.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the plan for right now, I guess.
And
I'd also like to. How much does it cost to have someone cast sending formally?
Let's see. What level spell is sending?
It's a third.
It's a third level spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 100 gold for some people. Some will go all the way down to 50. It just kind of depends on
Okay.
who you find.
Okay.
Alondiel will cast it for you as long as you've got time and days, where
Yeah.
he doesn't need to send spell slots or use spell slots.
Is this a spell I can learn?
Sending?
No. I could learn it as the trickster, but I'd have to be like level 13 or whatever the hell that is. Yeah, so no, it's not one I can learn. Cool.
Yeah, or if you had been a great old one warlock instead of a genie.
No, thank you. I don't like goo.
if we're headed back into Drusus, since we are headed, sounds like we are headed back into Drusus.
Yeah.
Ore would head off to the library and try and do. Well, I guess do we need to check on our house, make sure the house is okay before we all start splitting our own way to do some shopping?
Yeah. Well, because we're gonna pop into the backyard, so
we should
Sure.
probably make a to-do list.
yes.
That's kind of what I'm starting
we
to try
need
and
a
put
we need a
together.
party Trello board so we can track all the crap we're doing. Mizeki will make sure to write down and mention the university, the magic university that is near it's near Whisperhold is what he said, right? I have notes on that. Token Huntington. The big wizard school, it's not found on the map. It's south past the blighted woods along the trail coast. And I am looking for further education in the arcane arts and wish to keep it secretive. I have a token. Cool. So yeah, that might be a place worth going from the perspective of even just finding, like after we do the Merchant's Mist, we don't necessarily have a specific next place, right?
Currently,
No.
yes.
Yeah, so it might make
I
sense.
would think Finger Road's grasp and trying to find evidence of the finger, the ring, is probably a little higher up the list.
Well, I mean, my point was we can go to
mystery
the
quest.
university and they should have, the point is they have knowledge is why he's going there.
Sure.
And so maybe we can find something there.
Yeah.
Because they have knowledge about like ancient spirits and stuff too, like stuff that's not regularly available.
Okay, so are you wanting to go to the library with Ore to research this?
No. This is later. I'm thinking after the Merchant's Mist, maybe go to the university.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's table that for later. What are you gonna do in Drusus?
I'm buying a sending stone and sending it, which is going to cost me, what was it, 600 gold total? Or 400?
No, 300, I think.
300 for
200
the stone,
for the
100.
stones, and 100 for shipping.
Is that right, Insanity?
300 for the stone, 100 for the shipping. Yeah.
Sending stone. 300 GP, shipping 100 GP. And then I want to sending if Elandiel has the slots. Is he coming back? Do we know?
I mean, he said he was going to be
Managed.
late.
Yes, he'll probably be here. Just
Oh, he hasn't been here yet. I thought for
Yeah.
some reason my brain thought he was here.
No,
offline and then
he-
disappeared. Never mind.
he had a family thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to charm beasts, I think it was. Small ones.
He propelled the spell.
So I want to ask him to cast 2 casts of sending, one to Soraya and one to my older sister.
Okay.
Because they're in completely different places. Other than that, I think I want to take like a nice bath and eat some not spiritual trauma food.
Yeah. So
Is
given
me-
that you guys are deciding to go to Drusus, Alondiel's got the spell slots to spare then. And we'll be able to send those messages on this day. At this point, like you guys are still setting your plan and you're still in Maple Stump, but yeah. As soon as you finalize that that's what you're going to do, then spells can start getting cast to get you guys home. So, but does this plan sound good with everybody? Drusus for a
Okay.
few days and then
Yeah, let's say, what, 2 nights, 3 days?
I was thinking like 2
like
days,
one.
enough time to do some research and then
Okay.
take care of any personal business before
Like
we
go
move
back
on.
there today, sleep there tonight,
Yeah.
research tomorrow, then leave like dinner-ish or midday
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Get at
I guess
least
another-
one
Okay.
full day of nice rest, not in the wilderness.
So also remember when leaving and going there, you're going to be moving several hours east, so further in time. So if you leave at like dinner, you'll arrive in the middle of the night. Towards the early morning. So
leaving
just keep that in mind.
leaving
So
just
if we
after
leave-
breakfast.
I mean,
the
would probably be
following morning.
best, yeah.
Or
even early, like what would be, quote unquote, a red-eye flight.
yeah, like leaving Drusus when you would normally be going to bed, you'd be getting there first thing in the morning, but then you'd have no rest.
So maybe take a nap in the middle.
Yeah, or go in the
What?
morning, first thing in the morning, and get there in
Yeah,
the
first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's why I was suggesting 2
mid-afternoon.
nights, because
Yeah, mid
then
afternoon's good.
we're there. We have the rest of today. We take a nap, we rest. We have one full day to do any research and restocking we need. We go to sleep, and then, like, right after we wake up, boom, we're over in the floating belt. That's what I was thinking.
Do we have any easy way to contact Utra's representative?
Yeah. So you know her because you escorted her.
Yeah.
She is based in Last Breath, which functions as the nation's capital.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting her name right now. Tamiki.
Yeah.
Um,
I
is her name.
basically I wanna communicate with Tamiki and request a teleport for a person, if I can.
Yeah. I mean, you've
Like,
all met her, so Alondiel's
yeah.
familiar enough, so you've got sending.
Okay.
So,
How many sendings can Alondiel cast?
well, so he can do 2 today, and then you're spending a whole day tomorrow in town. And
Okay.
actually, he may be able to
Yeah.
do more because I forgot you guys just leveled up.
We did.
Let
Let's
me
see. I
look.
can check. I can look at how many spell slots he has.
Yeah.
We're gonna upcast it. He has 2 4th level spells and 3 third. He can cast it 5 times.
He can
He
cast
doesn't
it
cast
5
anything else.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, wild.
Yep. There you go.
And he has an amulet. Does that let him restore? That's only channel divinity. Okay. Does he have the thing where he can like restore points from his channel divinity? I don't remember what that's called.
I have no idea what features he has. That's up to him to keep track of.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
Amulet of
It's
the
like there's
Devout.
like an extra cleric thing you can do where you can swap your channel divinity for spell slots, but I don't know if he has that at all. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to take 3 of the sendings if I can, I guess, and I'll put together some messages real quick.
Okay.
Tamiki.
All right. Well, in that case, it sounds like you guys are going to Drusus. So, Sadzi,
Yeah.
you need to activate
Yes.
the staff to open the portal from Maple Stump to Drusus. The question is, which tree do you want to go to? You have one in your backyard. You have one outside of Drusus. And, you could just pull a prank on everybody and go somewhere else. You are in
As
control.
That would be hilarious, actually. But I think the one in the backyard is probably going to be best.
Okay.
One, mostly for privacy, so that we don't just bam people on the side of the river.
All right. So you raise the staff up, you go over, you slam it down next to Maple Stump, concentrating on the spell that you want to cast, and you see as the tree begins to split open, just as it did when Aran Whale appeared and stepped out of it, and you all are able to step through, and you appear in the backyard of your home, back in Drusus.
Now I'm concerned that Arnwell is using transport via plans and is just teleporting around. She's not really a god. She's just a high-level spellcaster.
What's the difference?
At some point, yeah.
That's true, I guess. What's the difference?
She's the highest level spellcaster, like the rest of the divines.
All right. I forget how many charges that uses, but make sure you mark off those charges on your staff.
Okay, I will make a note of it.
You should be able to on your character sheet. It should have them added in there. So, and you should just be able to tick the boxes. Actually, you might be able to just click the spell and it will tick the boxes for you.
I'm not sure it likes me, so I will manually note it, and then I can mess with it later.
Okay. All right. So you are all in Drusus. It's about midday. After your travel that you had.
Does the
So
house look okay, or does it look messed with, infiltrated,
from the outside,
trapped?
everything looks fine.
Okay. And we have a back door that we can go in through, right?
Yes. And if you wanted to climb up, you've got a balcony with a door that you can go into as well.
I think the regular back door is fine, but I will kind of check it for traps or something to notify any kind of hinky stuff that may have been happening to the door while we were gone.
Okay. You need to make an investigation check then to see if there
Cool.
are any traps or anything going on with the door.
That is another 14 for investigation.
Okay. So you don't notice any traps or anything. You do notice that the door is locked.
Don't we have a key?
I hope we remember to lock the door and someone didn't lock us out.
Someone should have a key, or the ability to pick locks at least.
You're the one that has all of the.
I assume Elondiel has the key because he carries everything.
Did you ever
He's the
give that to
responsible
him?
one.
Because you were the one that talked with
Do I
Aegon.
have it?
You were given
Oh,
everything because you were the one that made the
nice.
contact with Aegon.
Nice. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll use the key. Actually, hold on. What's my thieves' tools? I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, how hard is the door to open?
It's a good question. You've never tried to pick the lock before.
I will try to pick the lock with my invisible mage hand.
Okay, go ahead and give me a thieves' tool check.
Is that the same as my sleight, or is it less?
You're probably just
I am
proficient,
proficient, but not
but
expertise.
not
Yeah,
expert.
so
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, whatever dexterity you're trained in, but
yeah,
not expert in.
so it would be equivalent to my stealth check. Ooh, that's a 13.
Okay. You pick at the lock and it does not unlock.
I'm glad because I would be
Yeah, I'd be
concerned
concerned.
if our lock opened with a 13.
I'll just use my bonus action to grab the key out of my pocket with the hand
Okay.
and open the door.
All right. And is your hand invisible, or do you have it visible
Yeah.
for this? Okay.
No, it stays invisible.
Okay. So the door just swings open, or as you're examining it and looking at it locked, it just opens.
That is an amazing automatic door. Or would I have been able to tell that it was his mage hand that was doing it?
I don't think you can tell.
Yeah, it's invisible, and anything it's carrying invisible there as well, right? Or does it just see a floating key? What's the
You would.
wording on your feature?
It doesn't say because why would it?
Yeah.
It just
I'm just
doesn't
gonna
say
say it
anything.
works like everything else that's invisible. Anything they're wearing or carrying is also
Yeah.
invisible. So
Gotcha.
key.
So did it open on its own, or I checked it, it's locked, and then all of a sudden I hear it click, and then it's open?
I'm assuming Miseki also throws it open with the
Yeah, assuming you
Yeah.
stand there for more than 6 seconds, I open it.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's very convenient. And proceed with caution, kind of keeping my eye open for anything that may be hinky in the house as we enter in.
Okay. You step into the house, and as you look around, everything seems just the way you left it. Nothing seems out of place.
I
Cool.
love how we're just like doing a deep dive on our house. It's like, just go away.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like 6 weeks, so
Yeah, but we were also informed by Sodzi that dwarves are off to kill us, and other people have been watching killing dwarves to protect us. Right?
True.
The rest of us got that information from her as well, right?
I believe she talked about that, and
Yeah,
once the real world happened.
Yeah, because I think that's where Duke went back to her and said, "How
I
did you
don't.
know that we were
Yeah,
following you?"
I don't remember if told you that the dwarves were following you, just that they killed dwarves. That's the
Gotcha.
part I'm
Well,
not sure on. Do you remember, Sadzi?
Not exactly, but I will check my notes real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't remember whether you told them that the dwarves were following you. In fact, I don't think they told you the dwarves were following you. Just that they'd killed. No, they did. They said that they killed dwarves that had been watching you. And you wouldn't believe how many they had to do.
right. And it's if with that level of all eyes on us, Ore is getting a little heightened on the idea that we should watch where we go if we go back to places. So he's going to be cautious in this house for the time being.
Yeah, I have a note that I told everyone to be careful and like take extra precautions. I think it would have come up in conversation of like, hey, there's people following us, or at least there's people watching us, and this is causing issues.
So yeah, Ore is going to kind of case the house once really quick, just to make sure everything is fine. And then as everything is, you said what time of the day was it that we got here? It was late afternoon, mid afternoon?
Yeah, like late afternoon. You guys know of 3 groups now, I believe, that are following you, or watching you at least.
The dwarves, the Harringtons, and whatever's going on with Mazeki that we're all supposed to be cautious of.
Yup. You guys have made some powerful enemies.
Sure, why not? Ore's gonna, after the house is clear, Ore's gonna make note. I will be heading off to the library to try and get some research done this evening. If anybody would like to join me. If not, I should return a little later.
I'll come with you. Zerdig says.
Your
Alondiel's gonna go do
accompaniment
some
is
work in
always
the
welcome.
temple. Because that's what we always do with Alondiel when we can, and he's not here.
That's true. He does
Does-
need to do that. He's got to pay off his temple debts.
Yep.
Does anyone want to inform the council of Kiritsu's predicament?
I guess I can do that. Mizeki, do you want to come with?
Yeah, I could go.
Okay, you guys are doing
Okay.
that tonight, or do you want to wait until the morning there
Let's wait until the morning.
for that?
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna pester Mizeki to take out the
Yeah,
coolers that I have and make sure we're all stocked for that.
Yep, I can plunk out anybody else's stuff that they might need over the next 2 days.
Yeah. Maybe purchase additional bags of holding so that you aren't just storing everything in your ring, which isn't as accessible.
Yeah. Well,
But it is more protected.
Yeah, I have a bag of holding. It's not my fault everyone else skimped out. I think we have 3 now. Yes, I mean, counting Zerdig's, right? Because Alondiel has one, I have one.
Zerdig did not have one.
Okay, Zerdig does not.
It's not
Okay.
marked on my sheet.
So we have
I was gonna go back and look because I remember saying I was taking one, but I might not have marked it.
It might just make sense to party fund by one, regardless. But we'll figure it out.
Off air, Zerdig gets one somehow, but he should be able to learn one since he's an artificer.
Shouldn't we have like 70,000 more gold from that quest financing that we got from someone just before we left?
Yeah, don't you remember that 70,000 gold we found in a thing? The thing we got 70,000 gold from.
Yeah, we got a bag of holding with like 70,000 gold. It was delivered to us just before we left from, I can't think of who it is. It's not Larrick's grandson, or was it Larrick's grandson who's funding our expedition?
Yes.
The guy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we should have another bag of holding with an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
Just leave that somewhere.
I don't know if Alondiel just put that.
He just didn't write it down?
Yeah, didn't write it down or put that off somewhere else, because that was definitely given to Alondiel
Yeah.
because
He just stuck
he
it in a
was the one
drawer.
that pursued this. So
That's where
that's
all
a
our
question
money's
for
going.
Alondiel when they
Cool.
get here.
Cool.
Oh shoot! Did you leave
It's
our
in his
bag with
private
like
stash.
7 dragon hordes worth of gold on the train? Dang it!
He donated it to the church.
It went down with the
You
boat on
laugh,
the river.
but
Yeah, like I don't know what he did with that or where he's tracking that. He might have it in his notes somewhere.
How do you spell Tamiki and Drusus?
Drusus is Drusus. Tamiki is. Let me double check, but I believe it's
we
Timike.
have a doc for this.
Yeah. But let me go pull up
Yeah, but I
my
can't find it.
information on
God.
her. Yeah. Timike. Tamiki Akal. Akhal. She's a centaur like you.
Yeah. Cool. Alright. So I have messages to send tomorrow. For tonight, Mizuki's just gonna get some nice food.
Oh, you didn't want to
after
send the
going with
messages today?
Sadzi. Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna send it today. I'm losing track of what time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send the messages. I'm gonna post them as I go.
Okay.
Got one of them figured out, but
All right, let me
I gotta figure out the rest of them.
make sure I'm looking for those messages.
I'll specifically send them to you if that helps.
Okay, yeah, that helps.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I know you guys use the Discord chats a lot more than I do because I'm focusing on so many other things, and it would very easily just get lost for me. Okay. Ore and Zerdig, you both went to the library, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking for and researching?
I'm going to pull the Time Life Places of Mystery, volumes 1 through 5, and start looking up places that are known both for the follies and have mysterious circumstances like the floating isle. Just trying to find as much information about mysterious places or places of unique, whatever falls into the category for mysterious places.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check to kind of search through the books and see what you can uncover.
That's a natural 20.
Okay. Yeah, so you start digging through and you find lots of information. There's plenty of information specifically about the follies there. And so you already know about several of the major ones. Uttara and Typhons being two of the biggest, which you've already been to. And of course, Helena's. You find no mention of Harrington in here. It's not considered a folly according to the books. You only have that information because you were told directly by the Harringtons themselves.
With deliberately missing information, does it appear that something has been removed from the book, or is it just not mentioned in any texts that we can find?
It's not mentioned in any text.
Got it.
So, in addition to those follies, you also come across the mention of follies over on Manway. Specifically, you come across Peasant's Folly, which is at the northern edge of Manway, and it doesn't specify much about what it is, other than that it is under the constant threat of dragons. And then you come
Cool.
across Goldsmith's Folly, which is at the southern leg of Manway, specifically the western leg. And that one used to be a gold mine and is now all just fool's gold.
So it was an active gold mine and then just randomly became fool's gold all of a sudden.
Yep, one day it was no longer real gold, including all gold that had been mined from it.
Yay for follies.
Looking at other follies that you come across the Frozen Wasteland, which is a large island south of Finger Road's Grasp, which is in a constant state of winter. Given its proximity in the world, it should be a very warm tropical climate. But it is constantly frozen over and snowy.
Do I come across any additional details about Finger Road's Grasp in any of this research?
No, that isn't considered a folly and
Gotcha.
isn't considered any of the wondrous places.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
um, those are the follies that you come across there. The mysterious places that you uncover, the first one and the one that has the most information about is the Merchant's Mist, and how it has the ability to essentially transport whole ships, and including all cargo and crew, across from one end to the other, covering uh, hundreds of miles in an instant. In it,
Is there,
go ahead.
I was to say, is there any details about people who have been able to explore in between traveling to the instant sides? Is there regular travel through the Merchant's Mist, or is it always send you to
No.
the other side?
It
Yeah, they
always
teleport.
sends you to the other side. So there's no information from anybody being within the mist. It's just as soon as your ship or person or whatever touches the mist, you're instantly ejected on the other side.
Like directly across from wherever we hit, or
Correct.
is there specific spaces like you pop out here, always here?
It's directly across from where you enter.
With these follies, there was an age of folly. None of these follies existed before that age, correct?
Correct.
In the research, does it state anything that led to the folly starting? Like, was there an event that caused any of these, or were some of them just arose without history explaining how they popped up?
It was the gods cursing the world due to all of creation essentially being dicks.
Sure, I get like it was a punishment for mankind by the divines, but there wasn't any like specific, like for the Merchant's Mist, it wasn't like
The Merchant's Mist isn't a folly.
it's not a folly. It's
Yeah.
just a mysterious place, not a folly. So is there a record of
Mysterious
it
mist.
not existing?
No. As far as history knows, it's always existed.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, is if something happened that started that one, but since that's not a folly, that doesn't count for that. It's just always been there. Cool.
Hmm. All right. Other mysterious places that you come up with are the sink and the source, which are a whirlpool and a geyser that are inexplicably linked to each other, even though one is off the coast, off the west coast of Haptherini, and the other is off the east coast of Manway. And occasionally they flip places. So at certain times of the year, the whirlpool will be to the west of Haptherini, and at other times of the year, the geyser will be there instead.
And does anything that goes through the whirlpool pops out of the geyser?
Correct.
Is it reliably scheduled for when they switch, or is it random?
It is randomly trackable. And so there are patterns that emerge over the years. And so you could figure it out, but it's not on a certain schedule.
So like none of the research will state like here's the schedule that has been predictive that I can make a copy of for our records.
Yeah,
We would
there's
just
not a
have to
schedule there.
discover it.
You would have to map it out and figure it out. But with your natural 20 and your 22, that's one of the bits that you obviously recognize as you are going through that. You're like, this is a repeating pattern over hundreds of years, and you just have to figure out where in the pattern you are.
Gotcha. And am I able to discern that so I know that going forward?
That'll be a separate tech that'll take more time, but let me keep going on what bits
Sure.
of pieces you
Sure.
uncovered. So,
Gotcha.
other mysterious places that you uncover is the Eye of Zalzar, which is a circular island to the south of Haplorini. It is completely surrounded by mountains to the point where it forms a bowl, and there are several rivers that empty into a lake in the center of the island. And when you are at the edge of the mountains and you look down into the bowl, you can see that there is a tower projecting up above the lake. But as people make their way down the river towards it, the tower is not there, but is instead completely submerged and flipped to where the base is at the water level, but it extends downward from there.
And there's no details on what's in the tower because no one's ever been able to get to the tower.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So, um,
How
other.
long would it?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. How long would it take to get from Utra to Last Breath?
Utra to Last Breath. So
Yeah. The
that
river or
yeah,
sea?
it takes about a week and a half down
Okay.
river.
Cool. And do you know, is Mizeki's sister at home? I guess it's what time of year is it?
So it is currently summer
Okay.
where you are at.
So
The
she
second
might
month is
be.
coming to an end. Summer will last another month.
Okay, so then she might be at home because it doesn't have to be moving the food since it's not done growing yet.
Yep. Okay. Um, so in addition to those mysterious places, you also come across the Siren's Call is one of the mysteries. And
what is
it seems
Go ahead.
to be the entrance to an underwater city. Um,
Is it a city that has some sort of trade with the rest of the civilized world, or like a mysterious ancient city that not a lot's known about?
it has trade there, but not many people visit it because not many people can survive there,
Gotcha.
as it's not breathable unless you can breathe underwater
Or don't need to breathe?
or don't need to breathe.
Got it.
So, but it is inhabited by plenty of creatures who live underwater and can survive underwater. So, tritons and certain elementals and genasi, as well as several of the like frog and fish races.
Gotcha.
So, and those are um, the main ones you come across. Other notable things that you come across are Manway's Scar, which is the remnants of an eruption of a volcano at the edge of Manway. that took out a big portion of the forest there. And there is a temple left in ruins, and Haplorini's Wound, which is also a volcano that did some massive damage at the time of the folly, but it itself is not considered a folly because there's nothing mysterious about it now. It's just, hey, there's this new volcano that appeared one day, and now it is here. And so it's
Gotcha.
not like an active thing where it's unnatural behavior. It's just a new thing.
Mount St. Helens, it went off one day.
Yeah. It appeared
Got
one
it.
day and went off, dealing some damage in the immediate vicinity. But ever since then, it's been fine. It destroyed the old road that used to lead from Drusus south, but it's since been rebuilt around and not really a big deal anymore.
Cool.
So, yep. And then the Joy of Trees is one that you already know about, the giant tree in the center. And those
Correct.
are everything that you come across.
We learned that the tree in the center of the Joy of Trees is sentient, right? Isn't that what the belief was? Or no?
Kind of, yeah. It's a giant tree, much larger than the rest of them, and people definitely worship it. Whether it's fully sentient or alive is often misunderstood. So,
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, is that the last of the ones that I get out of this research lore dump that we've gone through?
yeah, so those are the ones that are in Haplorini and Manway and the surrounding vicinity. So those are basically the ones you'll find on the map that we're using.
Gotcha.
So,
Do I still have time left to do any additional research? Because that's huge. I'm sure that took up the bulk of the time today.
yeah, that took up your time today, well into the night. So.
Got it.
Does that count as Zerdig helping the whole time, or does Zerdig get to look up other things in the library?
Yeah, are
He would
you?
mainly help Ore first, but
Yeah, if you're mainly helping Ore first, that's going to consume your time as well. Then,
okay.
but if you wanted to look up other things the next day, you definitely can.
Yeah. If Zerdig could help Ore, will it take a little bit less time? I'm assuming, so we might have some time before the night, or it's all day for both of us to find all this info.
Yeah, well, because you got here in late afternoon. By the time you
Cool.
reach the library, it's already early evening. So by the time you're done with this, it's after dinner.
Well, that's what he'll do then, and then he'll just peruse. I'm sure they have a wonderful like Dewey Decimal System in this library, so he'll just peruse and look at any interesting titles on artificery as he walks out, but not really stay for hours.
Okay. So you find a few books as you're just kind of looking around, but this isn't a library that lets you take things out. Everything must stay in. So basically, if you aren't wanting to stay late, you can just take note of where they are.
Although I guess Zertic trances, so he could stay late. Are any of them interesting enough that that he'd want to read them? Like, since he's been to Steel, he's gonna be kind of hard to impress. But this is a large library at the center of the capital, so
Yeah, there's books that talk about the history of steel, and how it came to be with the Forge Mountains and the army of forged that were created there, and how it kind of became the center of technological creation.
great. Well, he's gonna burn some midnight oil then and read this because he only needs 4 hours of sleep, so of trancing really. So he'll stay late, late for him, late enough that he can still rest tonight, but late for like a normal human.
Okay. Yeah. So as you read through the history of steel, um, it talks a lot about the Glitterbelt family, right? And you know that that is Alvin, who you trained under, who's currently known as the greatest artificer in the world. His family is actually who started the City of Steel.
Nice.
But one of the first creations was the Forged. So the Forged were created there to begin with. And they used the ore and stone from the nearby Forged Mountains to create everything. The mountains have had huge chunks taken out of them in the quarries, to where the mountains used to come up all the way to the uh, northern border of the city, but now there are a couple miles away.
All right, I
Nice.
have finished my messages.
He'll make note of this and then read more and then go to bed. But that's some really good info.
Okay. Okay. So you know that there's not a circle in Last Breath. So how do you intend to teleport your sister?
Okay. Where is this the closest circle in Mint?
Yes.
Ugh.
It's just like way earlier in the campaign when we were traveling. Mint was the closest
Yeah.
amenities area too.
The Mint from the falling.
It was a couple. It was a couple weeks, right? If I remember right from
Yeah,
like last
everything's
year.
super far away.
Yeah, it's
It's like 300 miles.
yeah, it's about a month.
Okay.
So.
I guess that makes sense. I'll adjust it. Is it a month or like
That's a little more than a month.
let's say 5 weeks? 6 weeks. Let's say 6 weeks.
Okay. You would also know then that instead of sending to Tamiki, you probably want to send it to the counselor in Mint.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me go grab his name really quick.
Well, can Tamiki not communicate on my behalf? This is the worst telephone system.
I mean, she can, but if you want to send the message directly there instead of sending it to Miki,
I think I want to send it to Tamiki because, like, I know her
because you've
to
got
an
a better
extent.
relationship
Oh.
there.
Yeah, well, and she represents me, and it's a citizen of the Folly as well.
Okay.
All that jazz.
Insanity. It's guild cost gleaming hand.
Yep. Yeah, I just got to it as well in my notes. So. Yep. Okay. So you want to send it to Tamiki and have her communicate and arrange it with Gilcos. Okay.
Okay.
And basically, you're just changing Last Breath to Mint and 2 weeks to 6 weeks. But other than that, the messages change the same. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay. Which sister is this?
The older sister.
Your older sister. Okay. And she is the elf, not the centaur.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you get a reply back from her, and she goes, 6 weeks, end of summer. Yeah, I should be able to make it there, but I won't be able to stay for long. What's going on?
Of course, I can't answer.
Yep.
Does anybody else need sendings today?
Tamiki responds and goes, yeah, I can arrange that with Gilcos Gleaming Hand. How do you want to pay for the use? of the circle.
I'll put it on the goddess's tab.
All right.
I mean, I can't respond to her either. I can't respond to anyone. This is the worst communication system.
And then Soraya responds. She goes, the next time that we're passing back up through, since I'm still headed south to Whisperhold, I will probably be back in Utra Center within 6 months and can get down
Okay.
to last breath then.
Okay. That's fine. I guess I won't pay for expedite then.
Just
I'll
let
probably
someone walk it there.
Yeah. Well, I can probably get there within 6 months. Like that's not. Yeah.
Okay.
What we need is the ability to teleport ourselves.
You got to keep
I'm
leveling up
working
so
on
you
it.
can get there.
Yeah. What level do you get teleport?
It's what, a 7th level spell?
It's up there.
Yeah, it's a 7th level conjuration.
Yeah. And like teleportation circles 6, right?
Yeah.
I think it's 5th.
Oh, it might be 5th.
It might be
That's when
5th.
you can start using the circles without paying people.
Yeah, so next level we can start using the circles once a day.
So
But I have the feeling that Mizeki's gonna try to get me to power level as hard as he can.
I mean all right, cool. So yeah, I guess I can just have it walked and save the 100 gold. That should be about like
yeah, that'll be like 20 gold to someone to walk that there the whole
yeah.
time. Covers
Okay.
their whole trip there and back.
Cool. Save myself 80 gold.
Yup. When you don't have to have magic cast for it, it saves you a lot of
Yeah.
money.
And I guess I'll figure out the payment thing talking to the counselors tomorrow.
You can send it along with the sending stone.
I'll send the payment with the sending stone. It'll get there in 6 months.
Well, I mean, like, from Drusus all the way down there is like 4 months. So
Yeah.
you've got the time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. I always forget how big everything is.
Yep.
Like I like it, but also wow. We need freaking Magic Mouth, the Magic Mouth clacks system. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Okay. All right. So you all return from your various activities, take a long rest for the evening, and in the morning, I believe Mizeki and Sadzi wanted to go report to the council. How early in the morning are you wanting to go?
How early are they generally open?
They generally start getting in around like 9 a.m. after people have had breakfast. That's usually when you'll find, specifically since this is Victor Goodman and maybe Marble, depending on whether he's in Drusus or whether he's out on a mission. That's typically when you'll find them in the offices.
Okay,
You're
so
not likely to find any of the others unless they have reason to be in Drusus today.
maybe head over like 9:30, 10ish.
Okay, 9:30 to 10.
Yeah, sounds fair.
Okay. Um, Suds or not Sudzy, Zerdig or Ore, is there anything that you two are wanting to do today, or go back to do some additional research?
I will go back to do some additional research. Whether Zerdig wants to go or not is always welcome, but I can go by myself if necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are
So-
you trying to get out of your research?
I want to see if I can find history of um, the cuboids or the cubes, these little message items of the gods.
Okay.
If there's anything on that, and then look into specifically Finger Road and Finger Road's grasp and Finger Road's ring, and try and find discern as much information along those lines as I can as well.
Okay. And what about you, Zerdig?
Zerdig is gonna look up those artificery books. He'll probably read some more about steel.
Okay.
Just to kind of know both A, because he's curious, but B, on the off chance they could be a pretty intimidating enemy if it ever came to it. He hopes that doesn't ever happen, but he'd like to know more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you will want to come up with like a list of specific questions that you're trying to gather from that book, I can let you know the answers or if they're in that book. And same thing for you, or if you can find specific things you want to try and uncover about Finger Road's grasp, Finger Road's ring, etc. If you want to write down those specific questions,
Do you want
and
those now or just like offline it?
whenever you want to get to them, I can
He
respond.
Zerdig
Okay.
mainly wants to know about the inner city like tram system, and then also the Foundation Army or whatever we're calling it.
Okay. So you won't find anything on the tram system as that is really new, and so there isn't any information on it yet. But I mean, the army still exists as far as Forged goes, but for the most part, the Forged now have various tasks in running the city, and not as many of them are trained for the specific purpose of combat. At the time of its creation, it was for protection. It was back before the Age of Kings ended, when there were constant wars being fought over territory. And so it was designed as a way to protect. It was never used offensively. But the size and scope of it, if they ever did make that, they could very easily take over several of the nations nearby.
So an idea starts percolating in Zerdig's mind, having finished his gun, um, as well as his pistol and some other artifice, like Z2. He wants to create a Warforged, like Ore, um, or some of these forged from steel. So that starts to take form in his mind, and he's taking notes. So when Ore comes to see him, he'll see like sketches of like Warforged and things like that. But that's where we'll leave it for now. We'll pick that thread up again later.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, building a forged is easy. It's the imbuing them with life and sentience that is tough. So,
How much does a 5th level spell scroll cost?
let's see. Spell scroll. 5th level is what? Uncommon, or is it bumped up to rare for 5th level?
I don't remember. Spell scrolls.
5th is rare, so 4th is where it starts rare. So 5th. All right, let me go look at that. Rare starts at 500 gold pieces. Well, 501. And spell scrolls are going to be on the lower end of that because they're single use. So depending on the spell,
Yeah.
it would be between 501 and 1,000 usually. Some of them might get more depending on how powerful of a spell it is, but yeah. And I mean, still to cast a spell with a spell scroll, it needs to be on your class's spell list. So,
Yeah, which I have the wizard spell list
okay.
and the warlock spell list. So
Okay. All right.
wait, do I get this as a warlock? Cool.
So, Miseki and Satsi, you make your way over closer to 10 towards the council. As you are getting there, Satsi, you get a message from Marble. Sadzi, we wanted to let you know that Bracknell has been freed. Please come see me as soon as you can, and we'll discuss. Currently in Drusus. As that message comes, you knock on the door, and he's just kind of like,
Well, that was quick.
We're very fast.
yep. And so he answers, and he looks kind of solemn, and you can tell that he's been crying. But he looks at you, and he sees that you are here, and he goes, "That was extremely fast. I thought you were off doing various things."
We have been tasked by a goddess to do some more specific things, and in the meantime,
We
We
came
had
back
a-
to resupply.
yes, and take a bath.
Oh. What goddess?
Arenwell?
Arnwale.
And so, like, Alandiel told you this?
No.
No, she
Arenwell
did.
told us this directly at the ending of Alandiel's pilgrimage.
We decided to go along for the walk, as it were.
You all will never cease to amaze and surprise me with what happens to you. Visited by a goddess. Come in, come in. Sadzi, do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to tell you about Bracknell first?
Well, we can certainly discuss Bracknell, but if I'm not being too invasive, how are you and how is Agile?
At the mention of Agile, he begins to cry again and looks down.
I was afraid of that. If it's appropriate, can I like pat his shoulder or something?
Yeah. Do you say anything, or you just reach out and put your hand on his shoulder?
Just like, I'm sorry.
Is this the one where
That
we
was-
thought he was the god?
Yes.
Do we still think that's true? Yeah,
You freaking tell me.
probably.
Well, if he's gone or dead, and the corresponding god is gone or dead,
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good indication.
I mean, I'm just gonna put a string from one thing to the next, but
He, as you say this and put your hand on his shoulder, he leans into you, crying on your shoulder. He goes, Agile was killed in the war in action.
That is unfortunate.
I'm so sorry. Was it connected to Bracknell, or was this was something else?
It was connected to Bracknell. So, reports flooded in about a week ago that Bracknell had been freed. Apparently, a human and a Leonin appeared on the island, marched into Bracknell, and went to the camp where Shadow had been staying and slaughtered him. Somehow, in the course of this, Agile was also killed. The funny thing is, the description of the Leonin fits your friend. Whatever happened to Valerian?
We can legally and magically binding not say.
Unfortunately, Mizuki's right. I can only say that during our travels, he was detained and we were forced to go on without him.
Do they have like a chart showing the gods? Because we've been updating them when we learn that new ones are dead. No, is there like a wall chart?
There's not a wall chart,
We need to
But
make
they
one.
do have like a list.
but they do have a list.
Okay, so Mizuki's going to inform them of the new ones we've learned that have died,
Okay.
which was
Karitsu
Karitsu
and her apprentices.
and her apprentices. Yeah, there you go. I knew
Okay.
it was K.
Out of character, we found out they died like
Yes,
Arnwell
2
told us
days
about
ago.
a week ago, right?
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3
Well-
days ago is when Arnwell told you that they were dead.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
don't
that's
believe
when
she said what their time frame
Yeah.
was.
No, she didn't tell us many things, but
they're go ahead.
I know I'm not there, but does a week ago, per the description of when Shadow fell, does that line up with when we had our vision of Shadow?
No, that was 6 weeks ago. That was at the King's End Festival. Oh no, sorry.
he
You're
means, yeah,
talking
there's no
about your
The-
revisit.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
a Leonin and a human killed Shadow a week ago. Does that line up with a week ago we had a vision of battling Shadow again in the basement?
No.
Gotcha.
So, and a week ago is when rumors started floating in that it had been freed, not when it happened. So,
Gotcha.
So I guess we're gonna give him like a little paper dossier of the ones we know about. Just say, unfortunately, we've discovered more divines have been killed.
Well, mostly the one that we know of is the one that Arnwell told us about, which was Kiritsu and the lesser divines under her, which was the Tabaxi of Order and Chaos.
Also, we are about to leave for the Dragging Teeth on a somewhat unrelated mission, but still pretty directly related to our quest from Arnwell. Or Floating Belt. Yeah, the Floating Belt and the Dragging Teeth are the same, aren't they?
so the floating
No.
teeth is the section of,
Okay,
or
the
sorry,
Floating
the
Belt
dragging
is the
teeth
section.
is the section of the mountain range that is empty for the
Okay.
mountains that became the
So
floating
we're
belt.
going to the Floating Belt. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
you might end up at the dragging teeth too if you have to go to the coastline. But yeah, you're specifically going to the floating belt. So as you discuss this, Marble replies, "This is quite disturbing news.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's just over a year since Ayabar died, and since then 5 more divines have perished
We have
that
several
we
theories.
know of."
Yes.
Yes, Arnwell did talk about the disappearance / death of several of the divines. She mentioned that there is something to do with the quote unquote mysterious places of the world.
And that's what we're going to be working on now.
Well, part of it, yes.
Mysterious places of the world. I'm assuming the Merchant's Mist has come across your...
Yes.
That was the example she gave us, yes.
That is the second one on our list currently.
Yes, quite indeed a mystery. We still don't understand how it works, just that it does. I've heard of others, but don't know much about them. If you travel south and continue across towards the southwest of the continent and begin to cross the undying waters, there is a mysterious island there known as the Eye of Zalzar.
Hmm.
That may
We'll add
be
it to our
worth
list.
looking into as well.
Yes.
We'll add it to the list.
Related to long distance travels, I actually have a request to have someone teleported to Drusus. Is that possible to do, or resources are stretched, or what is the condition of that?
Resources are definitely stretched, but as long as you can pay for a reservation for the spell slot and the time,
How
then
much
we
is that
should be able to
nowadays?
manage. Depends on how busy we are, but a lot of the times, if you find an individual, they'll charge you anywhere between 300 and 500. If you use our circle and our wizards within the library, probably 100 to 300 is what we can get that for.
Okay. We need someone, I think, from Mint to here. Is that? Do you know if they have a similar arrangement in the area?
I mean, that would be under the eye of Counselor Gleaming Hand. I believe the circle is inside his office. Well, his office building.
Okay, I was gonna say that's wild. Dudes just show up in his office all the time. Uh, okay. We'll communicate with him then. I guess. Do you have anything you need from us while we're gone and about? We're planning to travel to Steel after this, and possibly the Haven.
I know that it would mean a lot to Agile if you attended his funeral. We are making arrangements and should be burying him in about 5 days' time in Bracknell.
Okay. We can. That is one of the locations we can reach easily. Did
Um,
we?
well, wait. If we don't have to use a charge, let's not.
Well, they
are you
regenerate every day.
still? How is your party getting to Bracknell?
I have the ability to teleport there since I am very familiar with the area.
Interesting. How many charges does the staff? Can we? Did we figure out
15.
if we can teleport through the tree tokens? If we tested that,
I know you bought tree tokens, but I don't
we
know
haven't
that you've
tested.
used
Okay.
them yet to see how big the tree is.
Yeah, we haven't tried it yet.
So
I think we only have the one tree token so far.
Yeah, because it was expensive as heck.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That being said, if there's room in your party for more, I'd go with. I would want to go with Marble.
I think that we can definitely be here
yeah,
for then. Because our time limit for going to the belt is still like 8 or 9 days. Yeah.
yeah.
It's 10 days
Yeah.
at this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
10 days. So yeah, I think that we can arrange that. I think that that would be reasonable.
Well, yeah, because we can pretty much go from anywhere in Villa to the floating belt once we activate the
Yes.
stone.
Speaking of Sati, did you spend the charges and recharge them? If not, I can show you how to do that. a minute. But so yeah, we can definitely be there. We'll be, I guess, in the city. Do you know our current address? Not that we're there often, but
Should you need to
I
leave word with us?
did not. You have a home here now.
yes, we've spent very little time there, given how busy everything has been. What is our address?
Just
I am going to assume that it has been written down by Alontiel with like a drawing of it. 'Cause
A map.
yeah, well, like a little like basic map, and then a drawing of what the house looks like from the front,
Right.
the
So-
address.
so we
Is
give
it in
him
a
like an
specific
Asian
neighborhood?
business card.
What's up?
Is it in a specific neighborhood of Drusus?
So it's in one of the nicer
Yeah.
residential areas of Drusus, but not like a specific area. Like the area you're in doesn't have a specific name.
Okay. So yeah, we'll hand off a picture of our house and the address.
Directions to get
Just-
there from here.
Yeah, directs us to get there, and we'll let him know.
Um,
Because obviously we walked here.
Right.
1234 Drusus Avenue.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's probably a little better than that, but yeah.
And we'll be in the city for the next few days then. We have to go inform our party. We were planning to leave this evening, but we can definitely adjust for this.
Indeed. What's concerning Bracknell, was there anything that you needed from me or to talk to me specifically about?
I just thought you'd want to know that your home was free. You can return without worry.
Oh. It is good to know. There's still, I guess, some things that I have to deal with before I can head home. But I appreciate you reaching out to tell me.
Okay. And then as far as the staff goes, I looked it up there. So 15 charges was what was used for transport via plants, and it regains a D12 plus 4 charges at dawn. So you'd need to roll a D12 for today to see how many charges you have.
I'm gonna see if I can make it do it on the Beyond, because I think it does it automatically when you rest. But
Yeah, probably.
I think other than that, thankfully Zerdig's not dead. Whatever was going on. I guess now we go and look into some. I guess we'll talk to Sadzi. We gotta tell everybody else, like, hey, we're gonna still be here. Sadzi, are there any special like funeral clothes or gifts or anything we need to get so we're not culturally inappropriate?
I mean, don't show up in freaking clown shoes. Is there anything specific that Agile wanted? Like, don't show up in black or something.
No, nothing specific. I don't think he expected to die so soon.
That's understandable. I don't think anyone does when it comes right down to it. But we will leave you to the council's business. And should you need to get in touch with us, obviously, you can message us or just stop by our house and leave a message as well.
Very well. As far as your question of whether there's room in my party, I can bring 3 of you with me. The rest of you would need to figure out some other means to get there.
Okay.
We can just use the staff, because by 5 days It'll have recharged 20 charges, so
I was gonna tell you to go stuff yourself in the ring, and one of us will put it in a pocket while we go.
there's more than 3 of us, even if I'm not counted.
Yeah. That still
Well,
leaves one of you
true.
and Z2 behind at least.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We will send Zerdig and Z2 with him to teleport because he doesn't know them.
Nah, we'll make our own arrangements. So
Okay.
I guess we'll get from him some directions where specifically it's going to be occurring because we can walk to the city-ish, right? But we'll pop out of a tree and then we need to know where to go.
Sadzi knows how
Okay.
to get around. Bracknell is
Okay,
her
she knows
hometown.
where it would be. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I assume there's like some sort of general place it would be at. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll go back and tell everybody, hey, we're going to be chilling here for a couple days.
I guess so.
Gonna
Oh.
do that. Yeah.
Do we know? Are there like in the council building? Are there offices for all of the counselors?
In this building?
Mm-hmm.
No. The
Okay.
counselors, when they come, usually stay in one of the various inns, and there's a large meeting room that's large enough for all of them to meet at once, but they don't all have individual offices.
So like, I can't be like, hey, can I leave this on somebody's desk?
So Victor and Marble each have offices, but any other does not.
Oh, I want to ask, can I pay Marble for the teleportation from Mint? Is that like, can I pay one counselor like to credit towards the other one, or do I have to send money somehow?
Yeah, he's the ground counselor. You can pay him,
Okay.
and
So
He'll
like
put it.
note it. And cool.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to figure out communication with Mint, and I'll send a message to Miki tonight. It's like, hey, I can pay Marble here in Drusus.
Okay.
What's the fee like?
All right. So if you want to get that message figured out and written out for.
Yeah.
Okay. Ore. Your questions here. So you don't find any information in the books about the onyx cube and cuboid and sphere that you find. The closest that you find is that there are relics of the gods that are scattered around the world. Some have been recovered and lost again throughout time, but you don't get an exact number of how many or their current location.
And there's no record on them ever being open, just found and lost.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And then as far as Finger Road's ring, there are only myths and legends about it. So there are stories that it was an island that existed in Finger Road's grasp before the Age of Folly. But it's believed more to be a story than a reality.
Okay, so it was believed to be, this is all myth and legends, that it was a ring that vanished in the folly, but it's no additional information on
That it was an
records of someone.
island in Finger Road's grasp.
Right. Sorry, an island in Finger Road's grasp. And there's no. Are there any? Probably not, but there's any like eyewitness accounts of like someone discovering it but can't find it a second time?
Nope. So just that there are people that talked about it and all of them are before the age of folly. Like all the historical accounts of it are there, and so it's legend that it ever existed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nobody believes that it was real anymore,
Got it.
and people have gone looking, but no one has found it since.
Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, that was the bulk of the research today that I had. I'm sure we would have discussed it before we left for the day. Did anybody want me to research anything else while I was out?
I mean, if you want to see if there's any information on the place we're going, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea to at least get some of the history.
Yeah, that would make sense. Kind of just get a little any additional information on the floating belt, or is it the floating islands or the floating belt?
Floating
It's the belt,
belt.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would look for any additional information if I have time on the floating belt.
Okay. All right. Mizeki, you get an answer back.
Mhm.
200 gold will probably be what it'll cost at the time you want it. I would definitely coordinate with Gleaming Hand as it gets closer to the travel date.
I'm gonna reflexively say thank you, even though I hate this method of communication.
Because they can't get you back, yeah.
Yeah,
Alondiel's just like, you're welcome.
yeah. I wish there was like a higher level, like you could upcast it and it would let you have like
A back and forth.
more messages. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so weird that you can't. Like you can teleport people at 5th level, but you can't cast a better version of sending.
Yeah. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so I will message and then I want to put in a request for one more message I'm writing for my sister
Okay.
at the Bank of Alondiel.
The Bank of Alondiel.
Hey, buddy, I need to talk to the Alondiel post office.
All
You're gonna
right.
need to get Elandiel like all kinds of gourmet stuff at the end of this. Be like, here's your monthly cheese subscription, and your monthly sausage subscription, and your fruit subscription.
I'll just say I donated to the temple.
Ooh, good one.
I was gonna get you a gift, but I donated it to the temple.
Survey says that's a lie.
All right. Does anybody have any problems, I guess, with us staying for a couple days to go to the funeral? Any concerns about that? Anybody want to
Zerdig
do
will
anything
just be
particular?
generally anxious that we're running out of time. But seeing
I
it's a
imagine.
funeral, even though
I
he
am.
doesn't
Yeah.
know Agile,
I
you
feel like
know,
Ore
comes
has like a
respect.
calendar at this point with like exact dates. He's like, it's fine. We'll have 5 more days.
Or is the scheduling mom friend?
Yeah, I do Druidcraft every day to see what the calendar says for how much time we have left.
Mhm.
And today it will be.
But there's still the general panic of what if we get there and then something goes wrong and then we have another 5 days that we have to spend doing something else.
Then we'll just crush the rocks when we need to.
And
Being
then
able to
and then
instantly teleport to the destination, it does make it a little weird. It's like you're sleeping to the last 10 minutes, you wake up, you get dressed, and boop, you're in the office.
Waiting till the morning of to do the project. Yeah.
Hey, last minute panic is a
Procrastination
great
nation.
motivator.
Yeah. Okay. So, is there anything else that you're wanting to do now that you have extra days in Drusus? Or just general in finding information on the floating belt and chilling and bathing in your house?
I would probably spend some time at the Temple of Thalia, just to kind of put a little time in there. And because I am a cleric of Thalia, I should be able to get vestments, right?
Yeah.
You can only get pantsments, they don't sell vests.
Gotcha. Okay, so pantsments and shirtsments. And I would look up uh, as many of the details of like funeral rites and burial rites to take with me to do a little of my own thing for Agile at the funeral.
Okay.
Being prepared if I have to dress for it, that type of thing.
All right. Well, with that, we will have you gather that information and I'll get that to you later. But we will go ahead and jump forward the 5 days, having you arrive in Bracknell. And we will pick up next time with the start of funeral services for Agile and go from there. But let's
So
go
sad.
ahead
Yeah, it
and
really is.
end here. So thanks everybody for coming, for hanging out. I know we're ending a little early today, but we went a little long last time, so it balances out in the end. But thanks for coming, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.